All right, I am going live. It's that Friday time again. Just double check to make sure that I'm up and running. And I can hear myself. There's my again. Just double check to make sure that I'm up and running. Volume on my end here so I can hear myself, and I can hear myself. Yep. All right, so today was Friday. Today's Friday, September 5th, 2025. Long story short, it reminds me of why I don't trade the employment numbers. I wanted to take one of my oldest EA. I got that one. I got it within $50 of being at 50,000. Notice that the overall loss is 525. I had QuantGuard locked me out if it goes below 500, so it obviously locked me out. Let's actually pull that account up. And 3 trades. It took 3 trades to go down 500. It is what it is. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not proud of it. I'm just indifferent at this point. But it does remind me that I don't want to do that again. When I was a much younger individual, I used to trade the bond market off of the employment numbers. And I was quite successful at doing that for a long time. And things work until they don't, right? But I had a lot higher risk tolerance when I wasn't married, didn't have children, all that happy horse shit that goes with that. And I made a lot of money trading the bond markets in my 20s into my early 30s. I made a lot of money. Well, it is what it is. Prop firms at Apex, still learning how I want to attack the market. Hindsight's always a teacher, right? Hindsight, you're always right looking back at hindsight. 9:53 a.m., the market sold off after that point. I was long. Actually, let's see, which account was I in when I went long there? I think it was 197, yeah. So 197, I took on a couple longs here, and I finished up on 197. You can see me selling off up here against the R2 line. And then we saw this right here. This was the 953 line. Look at that. And who would have thought that this 1 minute bar, wicked, is a nutty bar, like to say, it wicks. I have not found my other calculator yet, and I'll look for it today again. So I have to use my phone. 893, right? 893 and a half. And the low of that bar, 839. Was that 839? Let's go in a half. So that was a 54-point move. And who would think that that bar right there, you had this bar here that looked at 931. I don't trade the first 5 minutes. See, my first trade came at 9:41. This was just me playing to see what I knew that I would lock myself out if it went down 500. I have a pretty good, let's see here, let's pull the other thing over. So my account, notice I have just 3 evals up right now. But auto liquidate threshold value. I traded 3 contracts at that, and I still have 47. So 49,415 minus 47,911. I still have 1,500 worth of drawdown. Why is that? Oh, it's because, what? That doesn't make sense. You're supposed to be at 2,500 when you reset the account. Why is that taken against the high? 5682. Oh, maybe that's not the one that was reset. So what's 2,500 plus 47,911? Then that's probably where my account high is right now. So my account high on 190 looks like I made it to 50,411 before my drawdown. So I'm down roughly 1,000 from the high on 190. I got it within 50 bucks yesterday, but I decided to take on 190. That's my oldest EA that I have, and I wanted to see what I would do with it. Obviously, I was looking for a $750 win. I ended up with a $535 loss, and it had 3 losses in a row. You can see the other 2 accounts here. 3 trades right there, and 7 trades on the other one. 197 was the account that I wanted to get above 400. I made a new account high at 427 on 197. So hopefully one of these 2, 196, 197, or even 190, will be that account that gets above the $3,000 threshold and allows me to move to the PA. I like what I'm doing as far as my trades go. What I don't like what happened is it's hard, but I tell you what, it's hard to take a long on or short on knowing that you're up against the R2 line, and it's really difficult. I'm okay with taking shorts in between R1 and pivot point if we've not approached a pivot. So I most likely could have taken on one at this level, but it had went down already, and it went through all the support lines, right, coming down, and it actually retested that line. So it came down, retested, and then went on down. So it retested for about what, from 10:07 to 10:11. So for 4 minutes it retested, and then it went down. So there was an opportunity to short the market at the R1 line is what I'm getting at. In hindsight's always, you're always a winner when you're looking back at hindsight. And it would have been a very profitable trade to get in and stay in. Notice I tried to buy at the pivot point and got out. And I believe, and then, what's this, which account is this one? Yeah, 197, and I bought here and got out, and I believe that's the last of my trading on the day. So I did take on 2 buys. This one here, we were trading, this one was because we were trading at the pivot point, and I like that move. I thought we were going to, if we were going to move, it was going to be then. It didn't, but this was a piss poor trade looking at the CCI. This one was a better setup. When I went long here, noticed that we were above the 0 line. Finally, I paid attention to what the market was telling me, and I was able to capture this move going back to the pivot, scalping pretty much that market. And then you can see me playing around. This right here is us playing around in sim. So what I saw in sim was a 0, 1, and a 2 point. And you see me trying to take it on. I was shortened through here as we failed at the 100 line. It's a 100 bar EMA. Probably should have been, I was actually long in front of this if you go back to 197. So I went long again to see what I could get out of it, and it was a decent trade. Sim, I just kind of toyed around at between $400, $500 positive to I finished with what, 279 positive. So I was just playing around in the sim. Oh, after the 11:30 mark, I'm pretty sure I didn't take any trades. I locked out myself at 11:26, and you can see me at 11:31 at this point in time. I was playing around in sim just to test things that are on the back of my mind, and I use the sim account to test. I don't use and then I probably should have used the sim today to test this, but I wanted a real live test because I wanted to see if I could get 750 on one trade. I ended up getting 3 trades and losing all 3 of them. Let's go back to that one because you can see where I shorted. I shorted here, got stopped on this move right there, so you can see me short, and I shorted again, got knocked out here, got knocked out here, and then I believe I went short one more time and got stopped out again as well. So I think maybe the last one was a long trade, I can't remember. Anyway, long story short, 3 losses in a row. The last one was liquidated because I went above the $500 loss limit, and that all took 831, and I was out and down $500 in 2 minutes. 833. So yeah, I mean, stupid, but something that I would never do is trade a PA against that. I knew that the $500 loss limit, I can make that back. I've proven to myself over and over again that I can make that back. I did pick up 196 and 197. I got the $17 deal, 90% off on those, and then so yeah. Long story short, it was just one of. This was the move, man. I sat on my hands. Notice 196. Where did I trade 196 at? So 196, after I got knocked out here, I traded 196 off the bounce. My best trade on 196 was this bounce off the 50 bar SMA or EMA and taking that on. I had a loser, I believe, or a winner, or break-even trades in front of that, and so this line right here, this horizontal line, was halfway between R1 and R2. So I think I took on a short there. You can see me shorten and getting out, and then we bounced off of this here, went above the 0 line right here. This is where I went long. Was when I was playing correctly, and this was a good trade setup that I was able to catch. Might have been the best trade of the day, actually, just about. And I finished. Let's see here. Why can't I bring that over? I'm locked. There we go. So above 196, up above the $50,000 mark. This one was underwater last week, I believe. And then this one is a new account high coming into next week. And obviously this one here, we'll just take it easy on it. Might take it aggressive and shoot for the moon on this one. Try to get above 50,000 again on most likely Tuesday, not Monday. Or maybe Monday afternoon, I don't know yet. So most proud of the trading on 197. Uh, Probably should have led with 197 at the 9:30 mark, and I believe that's what I did. I waited to 9:30 to trade the um, EA 197. Yes. So I had I said some 8:30 to 9:30 trading on 196, and I locked it. And then 197, I had some longs here. Well, I wish I would have caught that short coming down. But up above, we touched the R2 line just about, and then it just sold off in a hurry. Notice I put the retracements here on the side to see where we could go back. We retraced back to, what's that one, 38.2%, and we haven't been able to get above that. So you can see how I draw my arrow lines in. I figured if we got above this line, and you can see this is what I saw, I wanted to be long or attempt it, and I got a little bit of that move, and that was the one. You know, if I'd have held it on, it would have run up through. So that I had the 50 bar SMA or EMA coming in as a profit target on the trade, and then we actually went up to the 100 bar. So I'm still learning how to hold the trade. What gets me kind of concerned is when you have these wicks down really quick. Like for instance, what got me scared today was I'm long coming in here, and I get these out, and then I get knocked out quickly, but I had my profit targets sitting there waiting. So I had protective stops and won that trade. You can see I must have got long right here on this move coming up through here again. Should have stayed in this the whole time and just waited on it and see how it would fall or go up. And what we were looking at was this move, right? So this held. So we had higher low. Is that right? Higher lows. Yeah, higher lows. So this low, this low, this low, and this low were all higher. So I was okay taking on this trade, and then just like that, the market turned over at the 953. Like I said, 931 wouldn't trade it. This one didn't turn over at the 946. Pretty much held at the 100 point line, 100 EMA, and this one basically held at the 100 EMA as well. The true signal itself most likely coming at the failure at the 200 line or the 400 line. Ideally, looks like around here would have been an ideal signal to get short. And like I said, in hindsight, you're always right. And if you could hold on to that, the market pretty much didn't show you any signs of turning around until an hour later. From 9:53 to 10:53, that market was nowhere. So I missed the short opportunity, right? You can see me, when I missed it, I didn't chase it. So then I attempted some long setups, and I was a scalper on the longs because this downward movement was telling me that it's very dangerous to be going long on a move, but waiting. This one I don't like. This one I wished I would have never taken on. This was stupid, but this one here I liked. We had formed a nice little setup here. Looking back at your CCI, we had a stronger base. Right here, and right here. So we saw 3 points of contact, right? So, in other words, 3 points of contact on the lows. Here, coming in here, and then here. And we finally go above the 0 line. We all go above the 100 line. And then it shows a move going back to pivot. Now what happens the rest of the day, I don't know. A sell off into close. The employment numbers, 22,000, less than expected. Obviously all that happy horse stuff that goes with that. Anyway, so I'm above water on 2 EAs, below water on 1 EA evaluation account. I have settled in on only having 3 evaluation accounts open at any given time for now. That's kind of my thought process going forward. And then when I want to play around, obviously, this wasn't a smart idea today. But if it would have been the other side is that if I had a 1,750 on one trade, I would have probably thought, well, maybe I can trade the employment numbers again. Well, today was a good learning lesson not to trade the employment numbers, or not to trade the 830 red reports. And I'm usually, that's been a hard and fast rule for me for a long time. On a side note, I did sell off half of my positions long term. After talking with my brother yesterday, we just feel maybe a top is forming itself, and we're up against extreme highs. We're coming into that period of time, September and October, where the market gets very volatile. It either will go down hard in these months, or it will go up until roughly November, early December, and then it most likely puts on the high at that point. So long-term situations, I sold off half of, I basically sold my dogs off. I sold Nvidia today too. I only kept $1 left on Nvidia so that I could just watch what the market was doing. I didn't like how it was working today, so I took my gains off and sold off Nvidia. A lot of my long-term stuff though is tied up into a SPHD, so Sam, Paul, Henry, David. It's a low volatility, high dividend, paying stock or ETF. A lot of my money is tied up into ETFs long term. Now, I've pretty much sold off most of the individual high flying stocks, GameStop and all that stuff. I've given that up for now. But anyway, I did sell off half. It closed yesterday. I don't know. I don't know if it was a smart idea or not. Just that we just decided that it's time and put it into some treasuries, silver, gold, maybe physical, and just I'm getting up there in age too. Lock in some profits at 58. Nothing wrong with that, right? Anyway, I think we're going to call it a day. I don't really have much I want to talk about overall. Go back to the sim account. So you can see I was really goofing with the sim today. I was acting like I knew what I was doing. Lots of trades. This is why I say Friday, 11:30. I want to be done on my trading day. So on Fridays after 11:30, not much good happens after 11:30 a.m. after Friday. So a Friday, being able to goof for a little bit and just go crazy. I think I traded 40 or 50 contracts at a time. Just goofing with it, playing around. Honestly, with commission costs, most likely with a negative day um, after the 11:30 mark on me. But I'm happy. I'm happy. I planned EA 190. I knew how I wanted to attack EA 190 today, and it did not work out. But the other side of that is QuantGuard worked. So QuantGuard worked, and it stopped me out. So I had a $500 loss, 250 per trade. I traded 3 contracts at it. I think the first one, spreadsheet. We'll pull the spreadsheet out. 3 contracts, and there you go. 173.39 by 3. You can figure out that math. It's above 500, correct? So it's almost 246. So 173.39. Ticket times 3, you're going to be above the 500 mark. So knowing that I could only go after it 3 times, less than 3 times to be honest, because you're going to run into what's 173 by 39. Let's figure it out. It's $519. So I did not have 3 trades to take that on. I had 2 3/4 roughly, or 2 7/8, because it was a loss of $519 with commission costs there. The other side of this is I've not been able to hold. This is max profit, the 462.94. If it would hit the 3, 6, and 9 P mark, so today was 155 ticks, 310 ticks, and 466 ticks, would make $462.94 roughly gain. So basically $450 gain if we'd have got it. Notice it's a 2.67 risk to reward. Overall, I was happy with my trading for the week. I got EA 190 back within $50 of going green again, but I've got 2 above the 50,000 mark, and we're going to take 197 hopefully to the promised land of the $3,000 payout. In maybe even in September I'll get that. I'll get some really nice wins. I'll start seeing the market a little bit better. I wanted to take it kind of easy in the first week. Well, still September is the big traders are back in town again. You don't see a lot of solid move setups right now. It just takes time. I mean, trading is not easy. As I like to say, if you followed me at all, trading is the easiest, hardest money that you'll ever make. You can draw trend lines and put on EMAs. You can do everything under the sun to help you out, but until you push that button and say, all right, I'm in, you really don't know how you're going to work. I mean, obviously in hindsight, you go, wow, look how much money I could have made if I'd have held this short from here down to this low. Anyone says that, and I've seen these things on YouTube where they claim all this bullshit. Be wary out there. There's a lot of scam artists, and now that they've it's historically trading just brings out the worst in people. It's just the way it is. Looking at the EMAs, looks like right here is where all of them crossed over and went short. But if you would wait for this EMA to cross the 400 to the 200, you only had this to that available in the short. And actually, if you would have went over here, you probably get stopped out on this move going up. So you can't look at like 400 to 200 crossover is what I'm getting at, right? maybe the 50 crossing over the 250, solid signal on a really strong downtrend or uptrend. But EMA crossovers are very dangerous. The 9 EMA crossover, if you're going to take on a crossover, it's got to be a quicker moving crossover versus a slower moving crossover to take on that trade. I find the highway to be, if I'm in a winning trade, and like for instance, if I would have caught this move, I find the highway to be a good point to find an exit point when it gets above the highway. So it's tough to find a move, but look, you can find a move if you're a little patient. See, it's kind of dipsy dude here, and then the highway kind of, you can see it turning over. Once again, highway, in hindsight, if I was smarter individual, it didn't go underneath it till over here. So ideally, I could have held on here with one of them, and I'm still getting used to holding on one, right? So this one works out. Keep it at break even, and then you allow that last one, the tortoise side, and that's ideally how I want to trade. I want to have one contract sitting in that tortoise position that just gets knocked out when the market turns against the original move. So you take two off along the way, and then you let that one get the big profits, and that's how you make the big money. Supposedly, that's how I've made it long term, allowing the tortoise side of the trade to win. The confidence level is still building right now on my trading opportunities and how as I see the market. But that's how you can look at it. So once again, the highway set at 0.111. Go back a couple videos. I went over every indicator I got right now. The highway set, this is a Bollinger Band set at 0.111. You got the 9 EMA, 50 EMA, 100 EMA, 200 EMA, and the 400 EMA. CCI, you can notice the CCI indicator is set up at 14 on the 1 minute chart. And like I talked about in the past, this is the one indicator that I was trained on with Joe Ross at Trading Educators back in the day. It's the one that I know the best, and that's why I use it. So you'll notice that there's some horizontal lines coming down today. Actually, you can see this horizontal line. Until I figure out how to put there's probably a setting in Ninja to do this, but what I like to do is put in a horizontal line halfway between R1 and R2. There's the halfway line between R1 and the pivot point. If we go down here to this horizontal line right here, halfway between the pivot point and S1, you'll find a lot of times the market likes to go to these, they seek these levels. So they seek the pivot point, they seek R1, they seek R2, but they also seek right there, right? See, look at this little bump right there, right at halfway between R1 and the pivot point. Go back here, see how this bump, it goes up to halfway between R1 and R2 and it sells off. I believe that's when I was trading 196. So when I was looking at 196, I sold here, and then we hit and held here, and there's my nice trade setup going. My profit target was actually the R2 line, but I didn't hold it all the way. Why did I get knocked out here? I don't know. I should have held. This is the exit point right up here. Once again, learn confidence in your trading system. Know how you want to attack the markets. I used to use the tick charts. I use the 1 minute to make my decisions, and sometimes I go back and look at other time frames that shows me where I want to exit the trade. But trying to use the 1 minutes, I've noticed the 1 minute with the EMAs has shown some persistence. It allows me not to feel like the market's moved too far too fast on me when I get in. and there's still some opportunity to get involved in the market. Notice, look at this. Look at this craziness that we're in right here. Like I said, nothing really good happens after 11:30 mark for me on a Friday. So that's why I decided to do my whatever this is called, my talk after the 11:30 mark, and then tell you how the day went overall, or the week went overall. So today wraps up September 1st, which was Labor Day. I didn't trade it. We had 4 trading days, September 2nd through 5th. Next week, we got Patriot Day in the smack in the middle on the 11th. The 8th, Monday. Historically, I don't like to trade the mornings. I only like to trade the afternoons on Mondays. And then Tuesday through the rest of the week, I usually like to trade the mornings. So I like to stay away from trading mornings on Mondays. And that goes back to being one of those things that I find just, I'm not, that first day coming back after a weekend, I'm just not ready a lot of times to take on that market. One thing I do want to point out is be careful come Monday. Full moon is on the 7th on Sunday. I don't know what it is. I'm not one of those astronomical dudes. There was a lady back when I was a lot younger that was, but one of the things she did convince me way back when is that, and it's for me, knowing your shortfalls, full moon kind of affects me. I kind of felt it a little bit today. And that's why I'm glad I have Quant Guard to protect me against me. So I was happy that it worked and it knocked me out with a $500 loss. I know I can make that back. It might take me a day, it might take me 2 days, it might take me a week, it may take me 2 weeks. But I know that I'm not going to trade the employment numbers again. And I also know I'm not going to trade any red reports at the 8:30 mark again either. So that little itch was scratched and I'm done with it. All right, let's wrap it up. It's Dave Knight here at Dave Knight Trading, also tradecrazy.com, which I don't have anything up right now. I'm not selling anything. I'm not promoting anything. If you want a good trading room to get into, go in Nutty Bar Trading's room. You'll find me in there on occasion. When I'm done trading, I like to listen in. Everybody has bad days. Nutty had a really bad day, but he talked about it. We all go through it. You know, everybody that I know of that does this for a living has days where they wish they never got up and never traded. It's just the nature of the beast. Me personally, I've spent more money at Apex than I've made. I'm hoping that 2025, this is where I turn everything around and start working my way to getting paid to trade here with Apex. I'm not looking at any other funded firms right now, prop firms. I've thrown my hat in with Apex. There's a lot of crap that I should say a lot of crap. When you're in this, those with the gold make the rules, right? If there's a consistency, well, that's why the 750 profit target's there. I don't want to make more than 750. I don't want to lose more than 500. So you don't want to lose more than 750 on the $50,000 account, right? So it's that, was that 20% consistency or profitable or whatever that is. So or is that 2,500? Excuse me, 2,500 times 0.3. Yeah, 2,500 by 0.3 is 750. So you don't want to lose more than 750, and you don't want to have a day greater than 750 when you're in your PA. So I'm trying to trade the EAs like PA. One of the things that in the back of my mind that I thought of is get an EA. And I guess this is the thought process I've got. And let me tell you why I traded EA 190 hard. I wanted to get an EA to a PA off a red report, and I might toy with that in September a little bit, that means I've got to be willing to throw away. Uh, Me adding another EA is not going to happen. Me using one of the EAs to get the PA off a red report might happen. Then that means I'm willing to risk that EA to get to the $3,000 gain on one day to make it a PA, so I can start getting paid in the future. So that's one of the things that I've thought of, and that's the reason why I went after the red report on the 830 mark. So if I use one of the EAs that way, that's the only thing I'm ever going to do. I'm not going to use any of the PAs to trade that way. Performance accounts with Apex. Just one, I don't have the money to be playing with at my age right now. And two, I just don't like when I take a PA, make it, and then turn it over. Like I said, I've only been paid on one PA at Apex right now, and I've had a lot of my PAs above the $1,500 mark before I would blow up. Right now, what I'm struggling with my EAs, or have been struggling, is just to get to a PA payout level. I mean, be able to buy a PA performance account so that I can be in the ability to get to the point that I can ask for a payout. So that's where I'm struggling right now. That's where I am. Not everything is as easy as positional trading and long-term trading, unfortunately. You can always make those decisions on the long-term side to go to cash and just set it out, right? Knowing that right now that if I do buy something at Apex, it's only cost me $35.50 on 80% discount, or $17.70 when they have a 90% discount, and being able to, I think it's $85 to go a lifetime on them. Once you do, I believe that's the level that, if I remember correctly, maybe it's higher, maybe it's more. Regardless, treat it with the respect it deserves. Treat it like it's real money when you're trading. I guess I've talked about everything I want to talk about. Why I went after the EA, we talked about that. Want to pass one of my EAs to make it a PA. So having one at full risk and willing to spend roughly $70 to reset, not to reset it, but to wait, give it the ability to go. Because if you catch one of these moves, like for instance, if I would have sold here and bought here, that would have been a $3,000 move. I wasn't trading, I was only trading 3 contracts, but I thought about just going after it. It's going to take in the minis, making one of these down here a mini, and go after max minis on the EA to see if I can pass one. I think you can trade 10 on the 50,000 account, and then I've done it before. That's kind of how I've made my PAs in the past. I guess I'm just not ready to go after it completely, wholesale, hog-tied and whatnot, to go after it yet, because I'm still working on me, and I'm still working on how I want to attack the markets. Even if you go back and look at my weekly updates, you can see that I've kind of done this, right? I've went, all right, what do I like? What I don't like? I've watched some videos on YouTube. I've thrown a bunch of stuff away. I went back to just taking everything off the charts and going straight price action and just look at the markets without having any indicators on. And as time goes on, I've added. Now I've stuck to this. This is where I like this setup. I like what's on the charts right now. What I see on the chart right now, I understand and makes sense to me. When I'm trading in the correct mindset, meaning that I'm watching the wave count, I'm watching the wave patterns, I'm looking for the 0 points, I'm looking for the 0, 1, 2s, and trying to take the 3 to 4, trying to take the 4 to 5. Excuse me, 1, 2. Trying to take the 0, 1 to 2 to 3, and my best one to take on when I find it is the 4 to 5. Trying to find those. If I can find the 4 to 5 setups. So this one right here, if you look in hindsight, why did I take this trade on the 196? Well, let's just look at it, right? And I saw what I saw. Excuse me, I need arrow lines, right? Why did I take on this move? Well, there's your 0 point, right? Let's mark it like this. Here's your 1 point. This ends up being your 2 point. This retest of the 50 bar EMA. You can call this in hindsight the 3 point up there, right? So I would have been able, if I was smart enough to hold on. Now notice it didn't make that 4 to 5 move today. Let's see if I took on, but you see me trying to attempt that 4 to 5. Right here. So I switched to 197. So maybe this will be the best thing that you can take away from today. So this low holds, this low is higher. You see me taking on this move going up here. And why? Well, what I was thinking at that time was we were going to have a 4 to 5 up move above here. 9:53 a.m. changed all that around. And the key of the day was right there. But you can only see the key of the day in hindsight. It's very difficult to see it when it's happening. At least for me it is. Maybe you can see it better than I do. But seeing that wick down at 9:53 turned everything over because we did not what? We did not make a 4 to 5 move. We stopped. We stopped at the R2 line, and I did not have the BALLS and whatnot to take on this trade. I wished I did. In the past, these were my bread and butter trades. Taking shorts on and making a ton of money at. MNQ has not been very kind to me taking on shorts. I've been humbled. But that was my thought process coming into my trading morning as I looked at the day overall. All right. There's no questions. No one's. I've had 9 views today. It says the average view duration was 5 minutes and 16 seconds. So I thank you for those that are looking at it. Please like my video and subscribe if you're new to it. Obviously, I say those things and to be kind and ask you. It helps the algorithm and all the other crap, happy horseshit that other people say, right? Ideally, if you look at this on the other side, looking at it in hindsight, right? This ends up being the 0 point. This ends up being the 1 point. This ends up being the 2 point. Then you have a very long 3 point down. 4, 5 to here. So 3 to 4, 2 to 3, 4 to 5, and 5 not very strong at all. And then it turns over on the 1 minute chart And this ends up looking as a 1 point right now. A 0 point on the long. 1 to here, 2 roughly in this area. And we haven't really done anything since that point. Now this is interesting right now. Actually, I guess we'll take this on. And the reason I'm going to take this on is I want to show you something. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to be long above this. So maybe we'll play around.
Order submitted.
You want to be a long above this here. And ideally you want to be short below. Why? We've attempted this how many times now? Up 1, up 2, up 3, up 4, 5 times we've attempted this. You know, I'm not going to trade. I'm going to close.
Order canceled.
You can watch this. So what you want to do, if you're watching this in hindsight, you want to bracket this market and you want to look for fake outs. I'm going to explain your afternoon and you can see how it works and plays out. So in bracket this level, what you want to do is be careful on the initial breakout. It might do so you'll be careful on initial breakout. A lot of times what it'll do is it'll fake out one way and then it'll go the other way. Likewise, it might fake out this way and go the other direction. Or it just might do nothing. So when you got these kind of areas where the market's kind of showing this, that's how you handle a breakout trade. As soon as you can get to break even on break even trades, it's good. Because what you're ideally looking for on your breakout trade is the market to not look back. The market not to look back. So there's some marching orders for the afternoon. Good luck to you. This is Dave Knight here at Dave Knight Trading. Also, wow, 50 freaking minutes. I did not want to go this long, but we talked about a bunch of stuff. God bless. Take care. And be careful out there. All right. Bye for now. Gonna wait a couple seconds. We'll see you on the next video I put together. Bye for now.